I realized that for the last couple of years, as I was doing this course, I ended up 1 week short somehow. And I tried to figure out, where is that week going away? And so I noticed that I'm on my syllabus supposed to be talking primarily about Anselm today. But on my notes, I was still covering Augustine. I realized, aha, there's the problem. I've been spending too much time on Augustine. It's not really too much time, because Augustine is well worth lots more time. But if we want to get the syllabus covered, I have to skip too much time on Augustine. So I realized I needed a different set of notes, and so I uploaded, instead of 9 and 10, I uploaded specific notes for today. And they're still from a previous class, so you can see I still have videos associated with that class. But the focus is still on this argument here, which is out here. So we'll go over that. And notice I'm starting with chapter 2, because that's where the main argument is. I should make that bigger too. Let's see. But where did I want to start? Boethius. Last class I meant, oh, by the way, I think, who was it that asked about where did the good, nice music go away? Did you ask that last class?
Where did it, what?
When you came in, wasn't there music playing?
Oh, yeah.
And you were
took
like,
it down and I was like, oh.
yeah. So I thought, well, if we're here early enough, I should show you. I don't remember the name of the song, but that was the video that we were watching. Pomme de terre means potato, and pomme means apple. So I suppose your nickname is Apple.
Isn't it apple beer?
There could be an apple beer. You can make cider.
That's a good question, actually.
This song is basically, of course, we've got Paris in the Seine, but Göttingen, which is a little German town, it has love too, It has pretty roses. So I don't know. Pomme occasionally sings with Aurora, which some people said that they like also. They don't really sing. This kind of singing wouldn't be possible without a microphone. When you watch her right up close, the mic is giving all the amplification. When they used to sing and they had to take voice lessons and everything, you had to be able to learn to sing, like from down here. They can. I don't think she is.
I don't know, I listen to some Celtic music, and they do a lot of that. We got that down pat.
There are singers that basically whisper into the mic. It's very, very cute, and very stimulating. I mean, if you're a male and you hear a pretty woman's voice whispering in your ear, that's very, that's very arousing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an electrical trigger that, it's not like.
Not EKG. EKG, so your heart.
Oh.
Yeah, see what happens. Play some different music, figure out what's going on in there.
I think they do, actually. Pretty sure. There's some books. This is Your Brain on Music,
Yeah.
and then that's one. But there's a couple out there. It's interesting because I think they've measured the brain waves are roughly 4 kilohertz. I guess it is, which kind of is annoying because that's the same wavelength as these fluorescent lights.
Is that why they're annoying?
But the thing is they've measured your brain waves, and they're like a melody. They're waves that act like a melody. And if you're listening to music, your brain waves match the music, unless you don't like it. In which case you
Jumble up.
yeah. And there are folks that the assumption is that when it's like nice and humming along very, very melodically, you're concentrating. You're able to concentrate on something. If it's all staticky, that's when you're not able to focus, and that's like an issue with individuals that have like ADD and things of that sort. So they are trying to use music as a therapy.
I mean, I use you can find ADHD study music, and it's just kind of like calming
Yeah.
background stuff that I can put on and helps me focus.
Like classical music.
Some classical music.
Yeah.
Dance of the Seven Veils, probably not very calming. Well, that's just fun. But I wanted to show you where that song was in case you wanted it. So there it is. Although
Sounds kind of
Yeah.
this tends to be very. They even label it 3 hours of healing music. Let's just go to this. Compared to the chant that we listened to last class, which was Ambrosian chant, it's a more complex type of chant. If that makes sense. It's still one voice, though.
Is this Gregorian?
Yes. It's still one voice. So in other words, everybody's trying to be at the same pitch. No harmony. Right? The harmony that you might hear. Okay, now this is different. So this is an advanced chant, a change. You normally wouldn't hear that in early Gregorian chant. But the harmony you might have heard was the echo from the chamber that they make. The reason they make the cathedrals the way they do is so that it creates this kind of sound.
I love that.
I gotta get it now.
Yeah. If you've ever been in the caves, like in Texas or was it New Mexico, I've been in some of the caves. You walk down, and you take the elevator out, but you walk in and go through the cave, and you see all the different stalactites and stalagmites. What's the difference between the stalactites and the stalagmites?
What's up?
That's Hagrid. Did you read that in Hagrid, or did you just think that up? That's funny.
Yes,
You know, Harry is actually asking which is which. And he says, well, one goes down, one goes up. The first one, when they're in Gringotts.
I remember, I read the first three when I was like 14.
So, while we're on the theme of music, that should be very calming.
For so long, I didn't get it, so then I didn't play for like 4 months.
Well, good morning. We're at officially, I guess, class 10, which is 1/3 through the class. So I do have the test. I think is due, what, now? Or somewhere? Today, actually.
Question about that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a time specification, so I'm assuming the time specification is like a day and kind of today.
Anytime today.
Okay.
Or tomorrow. Or the next day. As long as I get everything before the end of the semester, you know. But,
Okay.
you know, remember I put everything on the flash drive and weigh it.
Gotcha. Do you use a flash drive for grading?
Put everything you have on a flash drive. And I weigh it to see how much you wrote.
Gotcha. Can I hand you some sand? And you just put that on the scale?
Aren't you having fun with my questions? These are good questions. They're fun.
Oh, I love the question.
So, and it should, I said at the beginning, this should be the funnest course you've ever had or ever will have. And I'm trying to keep, it's still serious as heck though. I mean, we're talking about your mind and how your mind, uploads programs, especially about yourself and your meaning and so on. And we're going through kind of a historical menu of possible ways of thinking about yourself. That's essentially what we're looking at. But in any case, today I wanted to mention the author that I couldn't remember his name last class, very annoying, but it's Boethius. I should have thought to myself, the main book he wrote, The Consolation of Philosophy, Boethius. So it was there all along. I don't know why, I couldn't trigger it, but there's his whole name, and I have no clue when. But he's the one that was a follower of Athanasius, translating the Greek texts that he had into Latin. Let's see, I used to have a board. In any case, the main texts that he was able to pass on to Latin were the logic texts. And that's been so important because as we're looking at the Middle Ages, it's also known as the Dark Ages, which is just silly, really. That was kind of like the scientific PR, when they said, that was the Dark Ages, they didn't have science. It's actually not true. They had all sorts of things. It was a very complex period, especially with regard to logic. And thanks to Boethius passing on Aristotle's logic, a lot of logic developed. Some of it we've lost, actually. I remember if you go to the library, there's a history of logic, huge tome, a lot of sections on what happened during the Middle Ages in Czechoslovakia and that area. And they developed a lot of logics that later logicians redeveloped because they had lost that development there. It's kind of interesting how as you make advances in logic, it's a lot like mathematics. In fact, there's an overlap. We get to Bertrand Russell and Sir Alfred North Whitehead. They did a lot of work in logic. It really started set theory that we still, of course, use, and logical notation. I tried to create a more perfect logical language so that you would be able to escape the ambiguity. Gotta put the accent on the right syllable. Emphasis. You have to put the emphasis on the right syllable. Otherwise, it could be very confusing. But they did that, and we're still using that. In fact, that was the precursor to computer code, etc., which has to be very logical, or your computer won't work. You know, if it has